We know that the universe is a crazy place. Things are exploding, dying, being born, disappearing into the ether, and don't get me started on all the strange smells. But have you ever heard of Wolf-Rayet stars? Or how about the Goth Galaxy or the Screaming Skull? If you haven't, you've come to the right place, because today I'm looking at the actual things that go bump in the night on a massive scale. I'm Mike with List 25, and here in no particular order are the scariest things in the universe. By now, you've heard about black holes, and you are well aware that they swallow things. But did you know they can also eject massive amounts of matter? Galactic jets are gigantic beams of matter that get spewed by supermassive black holes from the centers of galaxies. They get blasted out like cosmic volcanoes, and then some, and rocket near light speed to ultimately stretch millions of light years, carrying immense energy. These jets disrupt galaxies and can even trigger star formation. While they are undoubtedly awe-inspiring, their potential impact on our solar system should not be taken lightly. In the weird world of quantum mechanics, you would flip a coin and it would land on both sides at once. That is, until decoherence comes along and shatters the possibilities, plunging us back into the rigid, predictable world we know. It could be a bump, a photon, even the air. Anything that interacts with our quantum coin, forcing it to choose. It's a chilling loss of quantum weirdness, yet the reason we have hands, not shimmering possibilities. Now, imagine if decoherence didn't exist. If you think the belief in anything remotely alien is ridiculous, then you should know that we've been speculating about an alien megastructure around Tabby's star since we first picked up on weird light behavior in the area. And then, very recently, that hope, or dread, depending on how you look at it, was obliterated. It turned out that the mysterious dips in starlight were only caused by interstellar dust, not engineered sensations. But it brought a new worry along. See, instead of megastructures, we're now faced with the reality of dust clouds, for now anyway, that could be masking other important celestial bodies. And who knows what could be out there. You know how that black ooze swarms all over Eddie in the movie Venom? Bear with me for a second and imagine a liquid so cold it should be a solid, yet it flows like an unstoppable tide. That's a superfluid, an eerie state of matter that can be found in space. Unlike normal liquids, they can defy gravity, creeping up and over surfaces like stars or planets. Once in motion, they're nearly impossible to stop. Some scientists think that dark matter could actually be a superfluid. If true, just imagine how it could interact with and consume everything in its path. Can you picture a force of such magnitude that it pulls galaxies apart like cosmic taffy? Well, say hello to galactic tides. The stuff of nightmares. They warp galaxies, triggering chaotic starbursts and flinging others into the ether. And it doesn't stop there. Collisions between galaxies unleash even more violent tides, tearing them limb from limb like a toddler playing with toilet paper. It's cosmic violence at its finest. You know how Mars once had flowing rivers? While it retains a thin atmosphere, primarily carbon dioxide, we can all agree that the planet is a mere shadow of its former self. Planets can lose their protective shields over time, stripped bare by solar winds and radiation. Even Earth's air faces a slow, inevitable erosion. This isn't science fiction. It's a terrible reality. Lost atmospheres leave planets as silent ghosts of their former selves. The Mariana Trench is the queen, or king, of ocean trenches, measuring 10,994 meters, or 36,070 feet deep. It is perpetually dark, with a water pressure of 1,086 bars, or 15,750 psi. That's equivalent to 1,071 times the pressure at sea level, enough to annihilate most submarines without specialized reinforcement. But it isn't just the pressure that can kill you. It's home to millions of unique, and extremely dangerous, creatures and deadly liquids. From giant toxic amoebas to liquid sulfur, freaky fish, and amphipods, it's the one place on Earth that we can confidently say was not designed for humans. Deep underneath the ice of Antarctica is a dense, nutrient-rich current that's critical to Earth's health. It cools the planet, stores heat and carbon dioxide, nourishes distant ecosystems, and influences the global climate. But the Arctic bottom water, as it's known, might eventually become a liability. Climate change could disrupt its formation, unleashing a wave of warmer, acidic water into the ocean, potentially suffering ecosystems and accelerating climate change. Like the movie The Day After Tomorrow, but, for real. Marine parasites are diverse and frightening, especially given that the majority of these organisms are extremely difficult to see right in front of you. Never mind when they're swimming around in massive bodies of water. One critter specifically is particularly creepy. The name of the species is Loa Loa, but it's better known as the eyeworm. Yeah, you could probably guess where this is going. The eyeworm goes through multiple stages of life, one of which can involve living inside a nice, warm, juicy human host. They require water for their survival, which explains why they frequently gravitate to our only exterior body part that always contains an abundance of fluid: our eyes. The Mariana Trench not only comes with extreme pressure and bizarre creatures, but also boasts extreme temperature variations. These temperatures can vary between 1 degree and 4 degrees Celsius, that's 39 Fahrenheit, and 450 Celsius, or 700 degrees Fahrenheit. Hydrothermal vents, known as black smokers, shoot out water hot enough to melt lead, yet it doesn't boil. The immense pressure at this depth, over 155 times greater than that at the surface, acts like a lid, preventing boiling. In 2002, scientists started to realize that their tagged great white sharks kept disappearing from coastal waters and reappearing halfway between Hawaii and Baja California. They named the area the White Shark Cafe, and it remained somewhat of a mystery until 2018, when a dedicated expedition revealed its secrets. The sharks congregated to take part in the ultimate elephant seal feeding frenzy. The cafe's location coincides with the elephant seal's breeding grounds, and the added benefit of easy access to food, like fish and squid, attracts large numbers of seals, and consequently, sharks looking for their next meal. I bet that makes you feel a bit different about that mouthful of water you swallowed the last time you went for a swim. It's believed that the oceans contain a staggering 1 nonillion viruses, and it's a 1 followed by 30 zeros. And yes, a single drop of ocean water can hold up to 10 million viruses. While the number of viruses become less as you venture deeper and further offshore, even at 4,000 meters below the surface, there's still likely around 100,000 per milliliter. Our real galaxy goes far beyond the stars. It's surrounded by an ocean, not of water, but of billions of dead stars, their faint whispers lost to time. Known as the Galactic Halo, the dead stars aren't even the creepiest part. This cosmic ghost town is suspected to be the domain of dark matter, the invisible substance that gives itself away by the gravitational push and pull. What is it? What does it do? Time will tell. Can you imagine a swirling, super hot, super dense soup that births galaxies? That's quark gluon plasma. And if you can't imagine it, you've just given yourself a glimpse into the fiery birth of the universe. Inside this swirling vortex, protons and neutrons break apart, releasing their fundamental components, quarks and gluons. The scary part? This near frictionless soup existed just moments after the Big Bang. It's a state of matter unlike anything we experience in our daily lives, where the laws of physics as we know them might not apply. Could some still be floating around out there? It's a very real possibility. Spiral galaxies must be one of the prettiest heavenly bodies out there. With that in mind, can you picture one without its arms? That is a lenticular galaxy, a cosmic oddity. They share the central bulge of their spiral cousin, but lack the vibrant arms where new stars form. These galaxies seem ancient, their stars long past their prime. No new stars ignite their darkness. They're not truly dead, but they have been left to fizzle out a final, very different existence. Did forces unseen rip away their arms? Or is this the fate all galaxies should look forward to? Even though they're not nearly as strong as the Earth's magnetic fields, galactic ones are behemoths and stretch for thousands of light years. These silent giants influence the galaxy's very fabric, from star birth to the formation of gas clouds and the deflection of high-energy cosmic rays. Their unseen influence is In a word, profound. And yet, we know nothing about their origin nor ultimate fate. For all we know, we still have so much to learn. For 10 seconds, just imagine a monstrous gravity so strong that it literally bends light itself. Surrounding it is a swirling maelstrom of superheated gas and dust millions of degrees hotter than anything here on Earth. Friction within this cosmic junkyard ignites the very fabric of space, unleashing radiation that outshines galaxies. Caught in its clutches, planets, asteroids, and even light itself succumb to its insatiable hunger, vanishing in its entirety. No screams, no roars, just the chilling silence of absolute destruction. That's an accretion disk. Okay guys, I need you to bear with me because I'm about to drop a few scary truth bombs. Half of the planet's coral reefs have disappeared in the last 30 years, and if the present conditions continue, an additional 20% could be gone by 2035. That is terrifying. Losing our coral reefs is not only bad news for fish, it is a global crisis. Reefs support a diverse range of marine life and protect coastlines from storms. Without them, fish populations would plummet, replaced by harmful algae. Coral reefs also contribute to the production of oxygen in the air we breathe, but the impact extends beyond the environment. The consequences would be disastrous for coastal communities that rely on fishing for a living and food. To replace the lost protein, we would probably have to dip into unsustainable farming practices. It's a downward spiral the world cannot afford. We all know that tons of plastic end up in the oceans, directly or through rivers. But where does it all end up? The Great Pacific Garbage Patch is notorious, but tons more vanish each year. It's a mystery that scientists have dubbed dark plastic. Is it eaten by animals, buried deep in the ocean, or something else entirely? We simply don't know. According to oceanographer Eric von Sibyl, 99% of the plastic is missing. We've lost it. Now that's creepy. There are some things we should probably not be allowed to do, like drilling too deep into the ocean floor, for instance. The boundary between the Earth's crust and its mantle is known as the Mohorovicic discontinuity, or MOHO for short. Today, we know very little about its composition, so in true human fashion, we tried to learn a bit more about the MOHO's composition a few decades ago by drilling into the ocean floor. We were unsuccessful. But the world's scientists have not been deterred. They hope to try again within the next few years as our technology progresses. The aptly named bobbit worm, named after Lorena Bobbitt, and if you know, you know, is a terrifying predator. It can grow up to 3 meters long, and usually it settles into sandy burrows where it waits with its sensory antennae outstretched. Prey that get too close trigger an explosive attack, and their razor-sharp jaws and venomous bristles paralyze their targets without exerting too much energy. Luckily for us, human encounters are rare, and thankfully no serious injuries have been reported. I'm not so sure what would constitute serious in this case, but hopefully it's not a bobbit-like event. In the deepest reaches of the ocean, beyond the reach of sunlight, are creatures known as deep-sea feather stars. Unlike their shallow water relatives anchored to the sea floor, these bioluminescent crinoids are free-floating and can come together in their hundreds while drifting through the abyss. But don't be fooled by their looks. The fearsome predators actually have tiny harpoons hidden inside their feathery arms, which they use to impale and catch their unsuspecting prey. So don't go hugging them. Just because they have more arms doesn't mean better hugs. So, you've been buried alive. Well, tough break. But help is at hand with the safety coffin. Yes, because medical science wasn't at its finest several hundred years ago, this practical solution was devised. Those accidentally buried could pull on a string that rang a bell topside. Fear of a premature burial is called taphophobia. Safety coffins happen due to a real case involving Alice Blunden, who in 1674 was thought to be dead and given a funeral, when in fact she was only sedated. Not all black holes are way out in space. Some fear that a rogue hole will one day come close to us and suck the planet into its event horizon, where it'll be ripped to pieces like a dog with a newspaper. The good news is, though, we'd probably all be dead by that stage, with the Earth destabilized to hell. Thankfully, the chances of a rogue black hole are 1 in 100 billion. If you're scared of wasps, you might want to look away now. A sting from an Asian giant hornet is enough to affect your internal organs. They were dubbed murder hornets by the Japanese, and this is no exaggeration. For example, its potent poison can fatally damage your kidneys. That's one heck of a sting, like you've been attacked by an insect version of Muhammad Ali. Float like a butterfly, sting like a murder hornet. We're used to watching lots of horror movies today. Some of us maybe not so. However, back in the 70s, things weren't so desensitized. When The Exorcist came out, it shocked audiences with its terrifying story of child possession. The release was so controversial, even the trailer got a big reaction. Can you believe it made folks vomit and was actually banned? And this was just a teaser trailer. What's more, it was in black and white. If you dare to be scared, then Warner Brothers made it available to watch on their YouTube channel. Be warned, it does contain flashing strobe-like images. I just had the worst nightmare. I was trapped in a building with a ton of creepy ventriloquist dummies. Oh wait, it was real. This is the Vent Haven Museum located in Fort Mitchell, Kentucky. It was founded by the late William Shakespeare Burger, well, that's a name, who was a title magnate and ventriloquist enthusiast. You could say he had a hand in everything. His enormous collection of dolls and related items has been on display since the 70s. The museum features well over 1,000 freaky characters to meet. Actually, not that afraid of ventriloquist dolls, are you? There are such things as vampire moths, my friends. Part of the Calyptra genus, they're found in Asia, Africa, and Europe, and they're hungry. Reportedly, these things can feed for up to an hour. Where are they putting this stuff? There's an American and Canadian variety, but don't panic, it doesn't appear to be a bloodsucker. Every year, thousands of people lose their lives at sea. An estimated 236,000 from drowning alone, the vast majority, up to 70%, are never found. From decomposition research studies, we know that fish and crabs quickly attack any remains, while salt and deep-sea pressure can significantly speed up the breakdown. In case you were wondering, it takes about 3 weeks for remains to be turned into bones. It's grim, I know. What adds to the mystery is that some bodies sink quickly, while others drift for miles, caught in underwater structures or carried by currents. For the moment, those lost at sea still become part of a very unpredictable journey that leaves scientists with more questions than answers. Beneath the frigid waters of the Denmark Strait between Greenland and Iceland lies an incredibly powerful phenomenon. Here, warm surface water gradually loses heat and increases density, eventually becoming heavy enough to sink. This triggers a massive underwater waterfall, not of cascading water, but of dense, cold water plunging over an invisible cliff. This downward flow, estimated to reach a staggering 11,500 feet, dwarfing even Niagara Falls, drives a powerful current known as the Denmark Strait Overflow. Although we cannot see it, this powerful current is one of the unseen factors that shape the climate on Earth, and much like the Antarctic bottom water, is vulnerable to human activities. Dead zones could be called underwater deserts. Their name says it all. These dead zones are caused by excess nutrients, often from farming, which fuel explosive algae growth. The algae die off, decompose, and devour crucial oxygen. This creates hypoxic zones, less than 2 ppm oxygen, which suffocates marine life. Slower creatures that can't get away, like starfish and corals, quickly die off, leaving eerie underwater deserts. Farmers are particularly vulnerable, as evidenced by the vast Gulf of Mexico dead zone. If there's one place you do not want to be on a stormy day, it is the Pacific Ocean. It holds the questionable honor of being the birthplace of the most devastating storms on Earth. Tropical storms and cyclones are more common there than anywhere else, while the Western Pacific is especially notorious for brewing up super typhoons, the strongest storms on Earth. They're fueled by warm water, and the Pacific's enormous size and tropical location create the perfect breeding ground. Acclaimed actor and Obi-Wan Kenobi himself, Sir Alec Guinness, wasn't actually that big a fan of Star Wars. However, he did possess some Jedi-like powers.
May the Force be with you.
When meeting fellow screen icon James Dean outside a restaurant in 1955, he had a chilling premonition of the future. Upon seeing Dean's car, Sir Alec warned him not to drive it, or he would die within a week. Dean ignored him, and a week later, he was killed in a car crash. No, the Judas Cradle isn't some crazy experimental rock album. It's a brutal torture device used in medieval times. Simple and gruesomely effective, it consisted of a wooden pyramid and ropes operated by gears. You were stripped down, tied up, and then gradually lowered till your sensitive areas touched the tip of the pyramid. I won't go too far into the gory details, but let's just say victims of the Spanish Inquisition suffered a truly horrific and painful experience. Worst of all, it was invented by a lawyer, as if lawyers didn't have a bad enough rep. Remember that scene at the start of Halloween where a kid in a scary clown costume commits murder? This isn't as bad as that, but it's still pretty unsettling. It's been scientifically proven that children get up to more mischief when their identities are disguised. Specifically, they become more light-fingered due to feeling emboldened by the costume and being part of a group. Seems that you need to hold on to more than just your candy on October 31st. Crows just got scarier. We associate them with hanging around graveyards, but we now know they also recognize human faces. In 2009, a weird study happened where scientists put on different rubber masks and recorded how crows reacted to them. A caveman's face proved especially effective. The birds saw it as dangerous and physically attacked the wearer. So, next time you walk past some crows, make sure you have a happy expression. There's a dark backstory to Pirates of the Caribbean. Johnny Depp is nowhere to be seen. Reportedly, the dead sea dogs seen during this iconic Disneyland attraction were a little too authentic for comfort. Back in the days before health and safety, the House of Mouse went to the anatomy department of the University of California and brought back some actual skeletons for decoration. You expect the Texas Chainsaw Massacre family to do that, but not Uncle Walt. Hey, strive for reality, I guess. Cousin Walt to me. For real. Turns out I'm related to Walt. Who knew? In 1997, scientists studying underwater volcanoes recorded an ultra-loud noise unlike anything heard before. They called it the bloop, and spent the next several years trying to track the sound's origin. Conspiracy theorists went crazy and speculated that it might have been anything, from giant creatures to secret submarines. Cthulhu, anyone? Driven by curiosity, researchers deployed more listening devices and finally tracked the sound's origin. The bloop wasn't a monster. An iceberg cracking and calving in Antarctica generated the powerful sound, which traveled vast distances due to the unique properties of deep-sea acoustics. Have you ever heard of internal waves? These giants form underneath the ocean's surface and can grow over 650 feet tall. Unlike surface waves created by wind, these underwater monsters are formed where water layers of different densities meet. Some studies suggest they might contribute to the energy that fuels rogue waves, while others indicate limited interaction. The East Antarctic ice sheet is the largest ice sheet in the world. It covers about 5.4 million square kilometers. That is roughly the size of Europe. It contains 90% of the world's glacial ice, which makes it an important part of the planet's climate system, to say the least. It acts like a giant mirror, reflecting incoming solar radiation back into space and sorting out the world's heat balance. Unfortunately, rising global temperatures pose a serious threat to its stability. According to estimates, even a slight increase in melting could unleash enough water to inundate coastal communities worldwide. Disruptions to ocean currents triggered by meltwater play havoc on the world's weather patterns, influencing rainfall and agriculture worldwide. While we often think of the moon as immense, the Pacific Ocean dwarfs it in terms of width. This watery giant stretches an impressive 19,000 kilometers, or 11,806 miles across, a staggering 5.5 times wider than the moon's 3,400 kilometers, or 2,112 miles. Just picture 5 moons next to each other. That is the size of the Pacific, and we've only managed to map a tiny portion of it. Imagine thinking you're dead, and the body you're walking around in is kind of a zombie body with bits missing. This is Cotard's, or walking corpse syndrome. It takes its name from Jules Cotard, the French neurologist who introduced the idea in the late 19th century. The delusion, which has been linked to extreme depression, is so powerful it can convince you that you're not there. Thankfully, walking corpse syndrome only has 200 recorded cases as of 2024. Mountaineers die trying to climb Mount Everest. That's the risk you take venturing into extreme conditions. With this stark fact comes the unnerving idea that we can't recover the bodies. Between 150 and 200 people are thought to be lost among the snowy peaks. This is out of a reported 330 intrepid explorers who met their end way up high. Did you know mites can get on your eyes? Meet The Demodex mite. They're big fans of the face. However, you tend to notice them if they start irritating your eyelids. Hair follicles are susceptible to them, so the lashes are somewhere they call home. This can be tricky in large numbers, causing the skin condition demodicosis. It's a freaky thing, but don't worry, it can be treated. When eating your own was more popular in society, the threat of Kuru was never far away. This neurological disease is transmitted via infected brain tissue through prions, basically harmful proteins. Kuru then attacks your nervous system, affecting your muscles and leading to mental degeneration. I never thought I'd feel so sorry for Dr. Lecter, but I guess I do. The United States is so much bigger than you think. Its size actually includes a massive area of land underneath the sea, 3.8 million square miles to be exact. So it's about twice as big as you thought it was. This incredible underwater territory stretches from California to Maine, even covering the depths of the Mariana Trench, Earth's deepest point. While land-based volcanoes may grab the headlines, scientists estimate more than 80% of eruptions actually occur in the ocean. These submarine volcanoes are challenging to track, but in 2009, researchers captured the deepest eruption ever seen, over 5 miles down in the Mariana Trench. These underwater giants play a crucial role in shaping our planet. They build islands, influence ocean chemistry, and even support unique ecosystems around hydrothermal vents. Look, I'm no expert, but you would think we'd keep better track of our most dangerous bombs. In 1958, an F-86 fighter jet collided with a B-47 bomber carrying a hydrogen bomb. In a desperate attempt to prevent an explosion, the crew decided to get rid of it and dropped it into the Atlantic Ocean. Despite extensive search efforts, the bomb has never been recovered. While the plutonium core was removed before the drop, the environmental impact of the remaining uranium and the bomb's casing remains to be seen. For now, let's hope that uranium stays right where it is, wherever that may be. Just off the coast of Scotland is one of the largest and most powerful permanent whirlpools on Earth. It's called the Corryvreckan Maelstrom, and comes complete with churning waters and waves that can get over 9 meters or 30 feet high. Tourists can't get enough of it, so much so that the government regularly has to remind everyone not to get too close. Oh man, now I miss Maelstrom at Epcot. Nuts. Frozen Ever After is good, but I miss Maelstrom. The Devil's Sea, southeast of Tokyo, has captured people's imaginations with its tales of mysterious disappearances and shipwrecks. Nicknamed the Pacific's Bermuda Triangle, people would love to add a paranormal spin on it. However, research suggests the natural world is actually to blame. This part of the ocean is fraught with storms, currents, and rogue waves. To make matters worse, the Devil's Sea is also located in a subduction zone, making it prone to earthquakes and volcanic activity. Yeah, I know. I talked about this in our intro, but it deserves the spot at number 1 on today's list. More than 80% of the ocean has never been documented, captured, or even visited by humans. Come on, people. We know more about the farthest reaches of space. To put that into perspective, if the Earth was a fruit, our exploration would cover only its skin, nothing of the juicy parts. The unexplored area, over 3 billion square kilometers, is approximately 26 times the size of Africa. It's a hidden world larger than all the land masses on Earth put together that could contain mountains higher than Everest, animal life, vents. I mean, basically too much to even try and guess. Exploring this gigantic underwater frontier isn't just about satisfying our curiosity, it just might be the key to humanity's future. Any climate change skeptics who are also arachnophobes may want to pay attention. A 2009 study observed that wolf spiders living in Greenland got larger when the snow melted earlier. It sounds like some sort of conspiracy theory, yet science says differently. How crazy is it that spiders live in the frozen Arctic anyway? Is nowhere safe from these 8-legged freaks. I like spiders, they're fine. They eat the insects. Spiders are, look at that one YouTube with the adorable Lucas the spider. It's adorable. Those cute squeaky dog toys, well, they're not as cute as they look. You see, they make that squeaky sound because a man's best friend likes the thing in its mouth to be noisy. I'm not talking about rubber cartoon characters. I'm talking about live prey that's screaming for its life. Our pet toys and their high-pitched sounds remind the animals of this. It helps the dog feel good for a totally morbid reason. Back in the early 70s, a young University of Washington psychology student named Ted would show up at the Suicide Hotline Crisis Center in Seattle. Was Ted a good-hearted young man looking to help those in dire need? Doubtful, because he was none other than Ted Bundy, the notorious serial killer who went on to murder at least 36 people. We all know that space is vast, to put it mildly. But apart from galaxies, tidal forces, and accretion disks, you'll also find a cosmic abyss billions of light years wide that swallows galaxies whole. The Eridanus supervoid chills the cosmic map not by temperature, but by the sheer absence of almost everything that should be out there. Its presence hints at unseen leviathans lurking out there in the cosmic void. Are there more? And what are they hiding? Do you ever wonder what our sun looks like when it dies? Just take a look at the little ghost nebula. It has no heat. It's just an eerie green glow with wispy tendrils. It didn't explode, but choked itself, coughing out its guts, in the process creating its own wispy shroud. It's a macabre preview of the slow, silent death that waits in our own sun's inevitable future. The cosmic Keyhole Nebula is like a giant eye in the sky, the cosmic keyhole peering through the darkness. The cosmic curiosity's keyhole shape comes from a dense dust cloud that swallows light whole. Or so they think. We know it's not empty space, but something dense and unseen. The true intrigue lies in what the cloud conceals. Could it be a stellar graveyard? Maybe it's a cosmic nursery, or a new generation of stars. It might be nothing. It might be everything. And that's the true terror. Officially known as IC 5332, the Goth Galaxy had its life, youth, and vibrancy stolen in what scientists believe was a cosmic collision. It's a ghostly skeleton with wispy arms where it hangs cold and white against the endless darkness. It is dead. It has no nurseries, fiery explosions, just the fading embers of old stars. Just like a ghost town in space, IC 5332 is a galactic graveyard, the ultimate reminder of the universe's merciless march toward the end. Of everything. A nuclear missile is a powerful thing, but like any object, it can go missing. It takes some talent, of course, but the problem is more widespread than you might think. It's thought as many as 51 nukes are currently unaccounted for. Some say approximately 100. Even if you dismiss that as a conspiracy theory, you can't deny this happens. When a nuclear weapon vanishes for whatever reason, it's referred to as a broken arrow. The USA reportedly has 32 of these, far less than 100 and a little less than 50, but still rather concerning. Next time someone tells you to slow down, you might want to speed up. You see, even a snail can be a predator, of sorts. It's not that they're gonna crawl all over you and eat you or drown you in slime or anything like that, but freshwater snails are considered as dangerous as sharks due to the nasty infections they carry around. The parasitic condition schistosomiasis causes fever, irritated skin, and bowel problems. It can be fatal, so swim away from the snails. Every single week, you unknowingly consume a credit card's worth of plastic in the form of microplastics. These tiny particles, smaller than 5 millimeters, have invaded our oceans, food, drinking water, and even the air we breathe. And the most unsettling part is that most of it comes from our drinking water. If you're into bottled water, I'm sorry to tell you that some brands contain double the amount of microplastics compared to tap water. So there's literally no escaping it. Scientists are deeply concerned about the potential long-term health consequences, as we should all be. 41% of Americans go into medical debt every year. That's a shocking statistic. Researchers also found that 24% of Americans need help paying their medical bills, with many having bills that are past due. While the US healthcare system has particularly severe issues, the truth is that most countries struggle to provide truly affordable healthcare to their citizens. The worst part is that sometimes these debts aren't even for your own healthcare, but for someone you care for. The financial strain is a heavy burden, and the problem isn't going away on its own. The phrase Ku Klux Kitties alone should be enough to send a shiver down anyone's spine. Unfortunately, This disturbing term reflects the reality of the KKK's poisonous influence, which didn't stop with adults. In the 20s, they formed dedicated youth groups like the Junior Ku Klux Klan and Tri-KK Club to target teenage boys and girls. Sadly, as mentioned, they even created Ku Klux Kitties and cradle clubs to indoctrinate young children and infants into their horrible, awful ways. Today, it's hard to imagine fridges without magnetic doors. And the frightening reason behind this familiar feature is a dark one. Back in the day, children would often climb into old-fashioned refrigerators and get trapped inside. The airtight seals and robust latches meant that a child suffocating to death was a tragically common occurrence. This heartbreaking reality led to the Refrigerator Safety Act of 1956, which required fridge doors to be easily opened from the inside, giving us the magnetic seals we have today. Another fact on this one, that's the reason the DeLorean exists in Back to the Future. The time machine was originally going to be a refrigerator, but they didn't want kids to reenact it, climb into refrigerators, and die, so they decided to make it a DeLorean instead. Bonus fact for you. We recently did a list that confirmed that you're more likely to be bitten by a person in New York than a shark. And honestly, that fact still blows my mind, but you can check out that list right here. But as unsettling as it is, remember this. If you do get bitten by someone, it is important to seek medical help immediately. Human bites carry a high risk of infection, especially on the hands, face, neck, and other sensitive areas. Any bite that breaks the skin should be evaluated by a healthcare provider within 24 hours. You probably think zombies are just for scary movies, right? Well, nature has its own terrifying version. Cordyceps fungi are notorious for infecting insects and turning them into real-life zombies. When a spore lands on an unsuspecting insect, it burrows inside and starts to grow. The fungus spreads, hijacking the insect's nervous system and forcing it to climb high, where conditions are perfect for the fungus to thrive. This ensures the maximum spread of its spores and seals the insect's gruesome fate. Now, while we don't have to worry about becoming cordyceps zombies yet, scientists do take fungal infections seriously, especially as climate change and antibiotic resistance become more serious threats. Here's a particularly worrying fact. Over 250,000 deaths per year in America are due to medical error. As reported in 2017 by the National Library of Medicine, this makes them the third leading cause of death. Shocking stats indeed. It appears to be a big problem in the US compared to other countries with a functioning healthcare system. You've probably heard that ancient people performed human sacrifices to honor their gods. Some of these unfortunate victims were children. Yet, things get even scarier when you hear why they selected children. Take the Aztecs. Several hundred years or so back, they wanted to please Huitzilopochtli, the god of the sun and war. Little ones were slaughtered to appease drought. When the children cried, it was hoped their tears would summon water to the land. Yikes. In 2016, a Danish arsonist made headlines. Not because he'd set fire to something, though of course he did do that. No, he managed to attract greater attention for what he did after the blaze. This individual felt the need to take care of business. He was then caught thanks to some vital evidence left at the scene. If the idea of a sexually aroused fire freak sounds scary, then brace yourself. It's a documented phenomenon that some arsonists treat it as a sex thing. I know the Danish enjoy making bacon, but this takes it to a whole new level. You've heard about acid rain, but what about acid seas? That's the scary consequence of the high amount of carbon dioxide produced by humanity. When the CO2 mixes with the water, it results in hydrogen ions, basically atoms or molecules with an electric charge. This leads to the ocean becoming acidic, to the extent that it can damage marine skeletons and generally harm many organisms. I mean, it's acid. Of course it's going to be harmful. To this day, I am terrified of Freddy Krueger, and it doesn't help that Nightmare on Elm Street was based on a harrowing true story. Director Wes Craven was inspired after reading grim reports about a young Cambodian child who died in their sleep. That child and his family had been through hell in their home country during the 70s, under the rule of the brutal Khmer Rouge. Whatever the child had been dreaming of, it was incredibly traumatic. Craven then took this terrible idea and turned it into a horror fantasy. A weird passerby in a fedora Craven had seen as a kid was the model for Krueger's look. Okay, brace yourself for a gross fact, although you just literally heard it in the title of this number, but bear with me. That delicious cup of coffee you're enjoying, well, it might have up to 10% insect filth and insects lurking inside. Yeah. It's so common that the FDA actually allows a certain percentage of bugs in your morning brew. According to their guidelines, No more than 10% of coffee beans can be infested or damaged by insects. Beetlejuice, anyone? I didn't brew this one though, so not sure the percentage on this. This is the Reese's iced coffee. Oh, fantastic. No, but for real, get the Reese's iced coffee and mix it with the sweet cream creamer. Oh, magnificent. This is particularly disturbing, especially considering our earlier fact about how inaccessible healthcare is for nearly half the US population unless they go into debt. Even more troubling is that nearly 3/4 of pap tests on teen girls and young women might be pointless. This means they're potentially exposed to the risks of invasive procedures, along with the associated stress and financial burden, for absolutely no reason. So, you think that you're safe from Facebook's data collection if you don't have an account? Think again. Facebook collects information on non-users in various ways, including data from friends who use the service and online tracking on websites with Facebook integration. This means that even if you vowed to stay off Facebook, they might already have a significant amount of information about you. In the 1960s, inventors came up with a birthing experience straight out of a carnival ride. The Blonsky centrifugal birthing machine, patented by New York residents George and Charlotte Blonsky, promised a faster and less stressful delivery using centrifugal force. Yeah. In short, they came up with the idea to strap a heavily pregnant woman to a rotating table spinning at a carefully calibrated speed, which would, and I quote, gently coax the baby out. Thankfully, this far-fetched idea has yet to gain traction in the medical community. If you've never heard about it before today, let me assure you that tooth in the eye surgery is a very real thing, and it's usually used in the most desperate attempts to restore a person's sight. When severe chemical burns, diseases, or lack of donor tissue leave the cornea irreparably damaged, surgeons can take a patient's own tooth, along with some bone, and carefully shape it into a bolt. This bionic tooth bolt then gets a clear plastic tube attached, and it gets implanted into the damaged eye. The last piece of the puzzle is a piece of lining from the inside of the cheek that helps to create a new surface for the eye. In 2016, astronaut Tim Peake captured a thought-provoking image, a chip in the International Space Station cupola window. Yeah, a chip. That's what we're looking at. It was caused by a collision with a piece of space debris. If you had any dreams about being an astronaut and floating safely through space on the ISS, this picture is a nasty wake-up call. It punctures the illusion of safety and carries the weight of vulnerability. The knowledge that one wrong piece of debris at unimaginable speeds could shatter our space haven, plunging its inhabitants into the void. Deep within the Milky Way, beneath its familiar disk, lies a terrifying reality. A huge graveyard full of dead stars. This galactic underworld, 3 times wider than our galaxy's expanse, brings a humbling perspective, a reminder of our place in the universe. I mean, just think about it. Our planet orbits within this massive necropolis, a tiny speck surrounded by the corpses of innumerable stars. That's not glamorous at all. Climate change isn't just about rising temperatures. It has other terrifying, strange, and unsettling consequences. In the Arctic, scientists discover that the warmer weather is leading to larger wolf spiders. Yep, larger spiders. To make things worse, these bigger spiders don't even need to eat as much, further disrupting the ecosystem's delicate balance. This could lead to cascading effects through the Arctic food web, potentially increasing the amount of decaying organic matter and the subsequent release of trapped greenhouse gases. 14 years before the Titanic's tragic end, a novella called Futility seemed to predict the whole disaster. The story featured a ship named the Titan. I know, what a coincidence, right? Both ships were the largest ever built and unsinkable. And guess what? Both hit an iceberg in April and sank in the North Atlantic due to a shortage of lifeboats. The author, Morgan Robertson, insisted he wasn't psychic, just knew a lot about ships. Still, it's definitely enough to give me the shivers. Millions of light years away, a monster recently went quiet. The supermassive black hole, millions of times Earth's size, literally lost its dinner. Scientists think a rogue star came too close to it, messing with the black hole's usual activities. The Earth is safe for now, but the unexpected pause is terrifying. It shows that even cosmic monsters can be disrupted, and if there's one thing we know, it's that their hunger might pause, but that it never truly disappears. Since I'm on the subject of black holes, let me tell you about Cygnus X-1. It's not just any black hole, though. This cosmic giant is a devourer, a silent predator with an insatiable hunger. Its prey? Not planets, not stars, but something even more primal. Light itself. Cygnus X-1 doesn't just gobble up light, it crushes, obliterates, and erases it from existence. And it's on the hunt. It orbits a massive blue supergiant star, a vibrant giant slowly consumed by the black hole's insatiable hunger. Even though the supergiant is fighting back, it's losing the battle. It'll eventually be obliterated. I am about to go from bad to worse. VR is a lot of fun, until you realize where we're going with it. Recently, scientists discovered that they could hack your mind into believing you're invisible. Using virtual reality, they can replace your body with empty space, then they can simulate the feeling of touch, making you feel sensations on your disappeared body. The disturbing experiment revealed something that makes the Matrix franchise feel a lot closer. Our sense of our own bodies is shockingly easy to manipulate. And it makes you wonder, if VR can make us believe our bodies have disappeared, what other illusions might our brains be vulnerable to? Do you think your sweat smells bad? Well, you can blame the bacteria on your skin. According to recent research, common bacteria like Corynebacterium, Staphylococcus, and Cutibacterium see your sweat as an all-you-can-eat buffet, or if you're a fan of Disney, all you care to enjoy. They feast on it, breaking it down and producing those smelly compounds that are the bane of locker rooms and crowded spaces. Scientists still don't fully understand the complex chemical processes behind this stinky transformation, so for now, we're left battling our unique odors with deodorant. Or antiperspirant, really, would be the better one. Don't just use deodorant, use antiperspirant. The following is probably closer to rumors than actual facts, but there are two very, let's call them persistent rumors about US presidents and lost nuclear codes. The first involves Jimmy Carter. The story goes that he accidentally sent the biscuit, the card containing the codes, to the dry cleaners along with the suit. Carter himself, however, denied that it ever happened. Another rumor involves Bill Clinton, only this time the codes apparently went missing for several months. Be that as it may, it's important to remember that a nuclear launch process has multiple layers of authorization, so it's highly unlikely that a single misplaced code card could lead to an accidental launch. In the 1650s, medicine cabinets looked a bit different. Back then, almost everyone believed a steaming cup of blood from a recently executed criminal held the key to curing epilepsy and tuberculosis, then known as consumption. As if that wasn't gross enough, they also used the dried and powdered blood to stop nosebleeds and sprinkled it on fresh wounds to stop the bleeding. Thankfully, with the rise of scientific understanding, the bloody remedies were banished to the history books. Hollywood can eat its heart out. There is nothing that dies like a Wolf-Rayet star. I can only describe it in the best visual terms I can muster. Imagine, if you will, the sun hemorrhaging material a million times faster than you could blink. These giants spew out powerful winds, forming ghostly nebulas around them, while their surfaces burn millions of degrees hotter than our sun, teetering on the edge of self-destruction. But the true terror lies in their death. Either a violent supernova explosion, ripping themselves apart in a cosmic spectacle, or a dramatic collapse into a black hole, vanishing silently within their own immense gravity. If we want to discuss spectacular fiery deaths, I have to mention a supernova progenitor. It's a star, sometimes even a system of stars, destined to explode in a brilliant and powerful event known as a supernova. The real fear in this equation is not in the explosion itself, but in the when and how. Will it trigger a runaway fusion event, ripping everything apart in a blinding flash? Or will it unleash an unimaginable force, warping space-time and swallowing everything in its path? Luckily for us, the closest candidate, IK Pegasi b, is located around 150 light years away, and most scientists believe it's unlikely to explode anytime soon. But just how far is 150 light years on a cosmic scale? If you want to talk scary, forget about supernovae and allow me to tell you about hyperflares. Imagine a newborn star, dozens of times bigger than our sun, that throws tantrums. These tantrums are called hyperflares, stellar outbursts that dwarf anything we've ever witnessed. Imagine our sun on a bad day unleashing the energy of 1 billion atomic bombs. Now multiply that by 1 million. I think you get the picture. In an instant, the star's surface erupts, spewing out a torrent of radiation. Ultraviolet, X-rays, gamma rays, enough to strip planets bare, boil oceans, and sterilize entire solar systems. A hyperflare shockwave could tear through the interstellar medium, triggering chain reactions of supernovae, bathing entire swaths of the galaxy in lethal radiation. And here's the truly terrifying part. We don't even fully understand what triggers these monstrous outbursts. Is it a glitch in the star's magnetic field? A collision with a rogue planet? Let's hope we never find out. Possibly someone activating a halo ring. Tumors are nothing to joke about, no matter where they develop. One particularly unsettling medical anomaly is the orbital teratoma. These tumors develop in the eye socket and can contain hair, teeth, and even rudimentary eyes. While they are usually benign, orbital teratomas can cause vision problems and require treatment. Regular eye exams can help to detect them early. Did you know that plastering on a fake smile might actually be bad for you? Yes, people, you cannot fake your happiness. Studies have shown that people who force smiles at work tend to experience lower moods and withdraw from social interactions. This is because the act of faking happiness can create a disconnect between your facial expressions and your true emotions. So the next time you feel a fake smile coming on, rather keep it real and give a genuine greeting, or the small wave instead. Turbulence, engine failure, sleeping pilots, heck, even birds through the engines. A lot of things can go wrong while you're flying somewhere. But I am going to shatter one popular flying misconception. There is no such thing as the safest seat on a plane. Studies by the FAA show that surviving an airplane accident depends on a variety of factors, not just seat location. Despite some studies suggesting slightly higher odds for certain rows, you definitely won't make it if there's a serious incident. Luckily, there is some good news. Commercial air travel remains surprisingly safe. In fact, you're statistically more likely to be struck by lightning, that's 1 in 1 million, than die in a plane crash, 1 in 11 million. A recent study has confirmed a link between a preference for late nights and psychopathic tendencies. Researchers found that people who enjoy staying up late tend to score higher on the dark triad personality traits: Machiavellianism, narcissism, and psychopathy. However, it's important to note that this correlation doesn't imply causation. In other words, simply preferring nighttime activities doesn't make someone a psychopath. But there might be a link between chronotype, preference for morning or evenings, and, well, murderous inclinations. Life-saving as they are, blood transfusions can have complications. For instance, if you receive incompatible blood, your body will recognize the donor's red blood cells as foreign invaders. This will trigger an immune system attack, causing the red blood cells to burst and release harmful substances into your bloodstream. This can lead to a terrifying feeling of impending doom, along with chills, fever, and pain. In severe cases, it can even cause kidney failure, heart attack, or death. Other, less severe reactions to transfusions can include fevers, rashes, or even allergic reactions. But the worst nightmare is receiving transfusion-infected blood. Lurking viruses or bacteria like hepatitis or HIV can hitch a ride in donated blood, triggering your body to go into full-on shock within minutes. The Perseus cluster's skull stretches over 100,000 light-years and is formed from superheated gas, millions of degrees, that finds itself trapped in the cluster's immense gravity. The eyes are voids, the nose is a black hole shadow, and the mouth? A maw of raw power, a region of unimaginable energy. What you see here is so much more than a spooky image. The Perseus cluster's immense gravity warps spacetime itself, creating the illusion we see. It's an amazing image that hides the silent agony of millions of suns. C-2014 UN-271, a colossal comet over 2.5 billion kilometers from Earth, is currently hurtling through space at over 22,000 miles an hour. Unlike most comets we encounter, C-2014 UN-271 doesn't originate from the dusty inner solar system, but from the distant Oort cloud, a vast reservoir of icy objects at the fringes of our planetary system. In terms of size, C-2014 UN-271's core is 85 kilometers across, exceeding the previous record holder, C-2002 VQ-94, by 40 kilometers. While it's not an immediate threat, scientists continue to track its trajectory. Even a near miss could disrupt communication, navigation, and weather patterns due to the charged particles released from its coma. A direct impact, should that ever happen, will mean the end of everything as we know it. A gas giant discovered in 2013 with 4 times Jupiter's mass is one of the smallest exoplanets that has been directly imaged around a sun-like star. And yet, its existence poses a significant challenge to our current views of planet formation. Orbiting nearly 9 times farther from its young, blazing star than Jupiter does from our sun, JG 504b shouldn't even exist in this location. But it does. It isn't a hospitable world for life as we know it. In fact, scientists believe it's probably a cauldron of immense energy, churning and forging elements in the furnace of its existence. Though JG504b doesn't pose a threat to Earth, at least for now, it's proof that the universe continually surprises and challenges us, and that we don't know nearly as much as we think we do. The Bayer HIV scandal is one of those that should really get more attention. In the 80s, just as the world was grappling with the newly discovered HIV and AIDS, scientists found that Bayer's blood clotting treatment for hemophilia was contaminated with HIV. That means that countless people, especially those with hemophilia who relied on the treatment, were unknowingly exposed to the deadly virus. To make matters worse, Bayer kept selling this tainted product in developing countries even after it was pulled from European and US shelves due to safety concerns. The consequences were devastating. Thousands of people unknowingly received infected blood products, leading to a surge in HIV diagnoses and AIDS. Life as a 1930s London baby in a tiny flat wasn't all sunshine and lollipops. Sure, you got extra snuggle time with mom and dad, but fresh air? That was a whole nother story. In an act of what must have been a sheer desperation, resourceful parents came up with a solution that make modern folks wince: baby cages. I'm talking about metal contraptions dangling from windows. Local groups like the Chelsea Baby Club even handed them out for free. It's a terrifying concept today, but for those families, they were a way to get their babies some fresh air. Safely-ish. If you're murdered in the US, the odds of catching your killer are not in your favor. In fact, there's a 1 in 3 chance that your murder will remain unsolved, adding to the estimated 200,000 unsolved cases since the 1960s. According to the FBI, the national clearance rate for homicides has plummeted from 90% 50 years ago to a mere 64.1% today. The causes of this decline are complex, but it includes an increase in gun violence, changing demographics, limited police resources, and a growing reluctance of witnesses to come forward, making the US a very dangerous place to be. So, which of these scared you the most? Let me know in the comments below. Also, don't forget to like, share, comment, subscribe, hit that notification bell, and check out our social medias, including my personal ones, links in the description. And if you enjoyed today's list, you'll love the list we did a while ago that covers 25 amazing facts about the universe. From the star factories to the size of the observable universe and the largest things we've come across out there, simply click on this link right here and just give it a go. I guarantee it's probably way more lighthearted than this one. This was a dark one. That's a pun, because space. Just click it.